We're the property angels. So let me just drop my screen so you can see us all. So on this great summer morning, the three of us are here again, and this time we have the fabulous Vicki with us, who Sam will introduce in a moment. But first, we'd all like to say good morning. So let's start with Sarah. Sarah, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Morning everyone, thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Sarah Smith. I've been in property since 2004 when I bought my first property, very much as an accidental landlord. As Karen may have mentioned, I'm an ex-solicitor and went full-time property in 2016. So I've got a portfolio of single lets and HMO properties, and for me, property just allows complete freedom, time freedom and choice to spend your time how you wish. So I focus my time on growing my own portfolio, helping others do the same, and also host Partners in Property with Sam and Karen here.
And let me just jump back in briefly and introduce myself before handing over to Sam, who's leading today's interview. So my name's Karen Stanbridge, and originally I qualified as an accountant. What a mix, hey? We have a solicitor, or former solicitor, former accountant, and former police detective. Well, I escaped corporate land like the other two ladies and built a portfolio of commercial and residential stock. And like them, I focus on building sustainable wealth, but also helping others starting out early in their journey. So now I'd like to hand over to Sam to introduce herself, and then our wonderful guest, Vicki.
Thanks, Karen. Hi there, my name's Sam Beddoe. As we've said, I'm an ex-police detective, did 23 years in the police. 5 years ago, I left to do property. I've done an array of property models, whether that's buy-to-lets, HMOs, rent-to-rents, title splits, auctions, flips, commercial conversions, using pension funds, using private investors, a real mix, and service accommodation, a real mix. So I've got a couple of main property businesses now. One is service accommodation. I have a number of apartments in Southampton, and I have a development company, and I'm buying a couple of development opportunities at the moment. So that's going through. So yeah, that's me. That's what I do at the moment. And like Sarah said, we all host Partners in Property network meeting, which is a live event, but obviously at the moment we are doing everything online. So Vicki, back to you, our main person of the day. Tell us a little.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody? Okay?
We're good, thank you.
Very good.
Good. Enjoying hope to have a bit of sunshine today, which should be nice.
So tell us a little bit more about you, Vicki. What do you do in property?
So at the moment, I've got a service accommodation business, which I've been running for the last 6 years. They're all rent to SAs, which works really, really well in Southampton. So I've got that, which is obviously a really good cash flow business for me. And alongside that, I also do property developments as well. And I've got, I'm just in the process, I've got some buy-to-lets. I'm just in the process of actually building up my portfolio of single-let properties. I think that's a really, really good, strong strategy overall. And that's kind of where I'm going at the moment. So that's quite exciting at the moment.
Okay, sounds good. So at what sort of stage, I'm making an assumption here that you did have a sort of job as an employee at some point. How did that?
Well, to be honest, in one way or another, I've always been involved in property. Really started, my dad is a carpenter, and me and my sister, we used to go and help him out fixing the door handles on building sites on the weekend. Obviously couldn't do that now, but we used to love it. So we would go and help Dad at the weekend and put the door handles on and things. So I've always grown up around building work. I then went to college, obviously through school, college, and went travelling. When I came back from travelling, I was like, okay, I need to get a job. So it just so happened is there was a chance meeting actually. I went up to Bitton and walking along the street, and there was an advert for a a part-time sales negotiator. And I was like, okay, well, you know, no time like the present. So in I go. And it just so happened that the branch manager was someone that I knew from school. So, which was great. So I just literally sat down and had an immediate interview with them. And yeah, I got offered the job there and then. So I started actually in the estate agency world, which was really, really good grounding for what I do now. And yeah, it turns out that I was actually quite good at negotiating and doing deals and that kind of thing. So I kind of guess I found my passion for negotiating and doing deals in the estate agents, and I got regularly promoted and headhunted throughout my career as ended up as a sales manager in the estate agents, which was great. And then I fell pregnant with my first son, and that was in 2006, sorry. I left in 2007 to have him, and I was on maternity leave. As we all know, the credit crunch hit. So yeah, so I kind of found myself on maternity leave with a young baby, not really knowing what I was going to do, but knowing that I didn't probably really want to go back full time because it's quite long hours in the estate agency world. So it was I kind of made a decision that I wanted to go back part time. But obviously, being a fairly male-dominated environment, the request for part-time work was declined, and it was basically you either come back full-time or not at all. So I was like, well, okay, it looks like I'm not coming back then. So ended up setting up my own management company from home, because I really wanted to be at home with my son. I didn't want to miss out on being with him. So whilst it was a struggle, it kind of, I organically grew my business, that I had a certain number of managed properties that I would get regular income from, and yeah, I could stay at home with him, which is ultimately what I really wanted to do. So yeah, and then from there it's just kind of, as they've got older, you know, we've gone on to buy another house. We rented out the house that we lived in when I was pregnant with my second son. We brought a complete wreck of a property which needed everything doing to it. So we actually moved in with my parents-in-law with our toddler, and me being like 8 months pregnant. And yeah, so that was quite interesting. But you know, it was great. It worked out really well for us. And now we've kind of done our house up over time. And now that we're finished, we want to move. So got it to how we want it, and now we want to move. So yeah.
You spent ages on your current house making it.
Yeah, it took a while. It was money and kind of getting stuff done, you know. So yeah, it did take a while. Well, we've been here 10 years, so but yeah, so we've got it how we want it. Now we want to move.
So what do you think are the key skills that made you so successful in letting agents, that you were really good at negotiating skills?
I think really it's communication, like with everything. It's communication, being quite sort of open and honest with people about what you can do and what you can, how you can help them. Everyone wants a solution at the end of the day, don't they? And you know, they want that stress taken away from them, which is why they would use a letting agent. So yeah, I think that's the key thing really, is to be communicative and open with them, and do as you say you're going to do as well, because there's lots of people that don't do that. So, sorry?
Be a problem solver.
Yeah, absolutely, problem solving. I love problem solving. You know, that's kind of one of my strengths, definitely, is being a good problem solver, and I really enjoy it.
Okay, cool. So what about your biggest success in your career to date?
So well, first and foremost, I think actually it's bringing up a family whilst running a business from home, especially in this climate. You know, it's not ideal, but you know, thank goodness we can still earn an income from home and kind of look after the kids. Yeah, some things have slipped, and you know, obviously we're not doing schoolwork every second of every day, but you know, we're managing, and I think that's all that anyone can hope for right now, is just to kind of get through the other side. So yeah, and I think that's kind of what you need to just continue to do, really. Just head down and just come out the other side.
That's good, and that's a good sort of attitude towards it all, because I know
Yeah,
there's been super stress with so many people, hasn't there? And
yeah. I feel like the cracks are really starting to show as well, you know, and a lot of people and a lot of things. I mean, you know, my bottle bank is quite large. Bottles are wine bottles, but you know, got to do what you got to do, right? So obviously not during the day, but yeah. So I go. My biggest success, obviously, father family. So back in 2015, I actually took on a commercial conversion project, and that went really well. So we purchased a commercial unit which was being used as a training office, and we converted that into 4 one-bedroom flats. We sold those for profit, so that was really good. So that gave me a bit of income, a good sort of pot of money, which has enabled me to then buy other properties and other projects. And that's what we're doing at the moment. So I've got a property at the moment which we've purchased. So we've actually got it on a bridge. So we've used the Shore Bridge to Let product, which for me kind of almost takes a bit of the worry out of a bridging loan, because you get the buy to let product is underwritten at the same time as the bridge. So you know that you're going to have this end value that you're definitely going to be able to get as a buy to let value. So that was really good. So that's worked really well. And despite it being over the COVID-19 situation, we've had issues with multi-finish and getting the right products that need to be on site. But actually we've done it, and it's really nearly finished now. So with that project, we're actually gonna let that to contractors. But I've actually changed tact a little bit since. Sorry, my dog's in the background. I've actually changed tact a little bit with that one for that reason. So I'm actually going to single let that one now, and I've already got tenants lined up to go in there. So probably about 2 weeks' time, it should be completely finished, completely ready. I'm in the process of refinancing it. So I'll be able to refinance it, hopefully get the majority of my money back out. Obviously, again, it's a bit up in the air with valuers and that kind of thing. So we're just going to have to play it a bit by ear, but I'm probably not going to commit, like do a 5-year term. I'll probably just do maybe a 2-year term. So hopefully I would have added a lot of value onto that one. And then I'll just be looking out for another project, because actually over this lockdown time, it's made me realise that actually that is what I love to do. I love to, find deals and, the whole process of it, go through, refurb it, get the architect plans, get all the planning permissions and stuff in place. And that's what I really love to do. And the service accommodation business is great because that runs alongside what I'm doing now for cash flow. And, it just works really well. And I do feel really grateful that I'm in that position, because, my kids still need me, even though they're like 12 and 10, I still like to be at home for them when they come back from school. And, it's something that's really important to me. I didn't ever want to miss out on that, because they're really not young for very long. Sarah, you'll find that one out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's interesting, because I was going to say, what's your sort of current focus, but especially because you've got 2 businesses you're running there. So in this sort of time that we've been in lockdown, has that sort of made you think, I want to do more of that and I'm going to shrink that business, or are you still going to run them parallel?
Yeah, I still plan to run them parallel. I mean, we've been incredibly lucky with the service accommodation business, because it's, as you know, Sam, come March time, when March hit and we started getting that ping through the phone every 5 minutes from booking.com, like the cancellations, it's like, oh my goodness me, what is going on here? So that was a bit of a shock. And, we've got a great support network of service accommodation providers in Southampton. I've actually run a Facebook group Southampton SA, and we have got such a great community on there, haven't we, Sam? And you know, like last night, yesterday there was a party going on, and my cleaner actually notified on there that this guy had posted on TikTok, I think it was, and he was basically in a Instagram, and they were having this party, and you know, one of the girls from the group actually contacted the guy whose accommodation it was and managed to stop the party. I mean, you know, these people just don't give a damn, you know, they're just in there to have a good time, but the impact it has on us as hosts is massive. So so that was really good. So yeah, we're really lucky. But you know, as I say, once that hit and you know we were in a position where we were losing bookings, we really had to look at the business and say, well, actually, we need to do something about this. And so straight away, I just got on the phone, ringing around people, ringing around previous contractors and previous people that had stayed with us, because obviously there were restrictions on who we could actually have, we could host. So key workers were obviously our main focus and main target. So we went back through, and actually during that whole period I remained full in all of my units, which is brilliant. And I do feel incredibly grateful that I managed to get those bookings in, because that's just seen me over. I mean, yeah, it's not on the same level of income as the previous, as what it would normally be this time of year, but you know, it's fine. We're all in completely unprecedented times, and you just got to try and do your best, haven't you? You know.
Yeah, that was sort of 3 months of our key start to the year, isn't it? It starts from end of March, April, with Easter coming in all back.
Yeah, that's it. Easter is the sort of start of it all, really, isn't it? And it just, you know, didn't come.
Hopefully it's not going to be too long now before we can start taking the leisure people back. And
yeah, I hope so. I mean, we've actually started getting some bookings coming in for August, and actually some really decent ones as well, because I think there is this real pent-up demand. There's going to be a real pent-up demand for holiday accommodation, especially, you know, in the UK. People can't travel away so much, and to be honest, probably really wouldn't want to go travel on an airplane and that kind of thing. So people will be looking for you know, accommodation, and I think we've certainly adjusted our prices, but you know, equally don't want to be too greedy about it all. You know, it's kind of finding that sort of balance, isn't it?
Yeah. So what's your plan for the next sort of 3 to 5 years?
So my plan really is to keep the service let business going. My husband works 1 day a week for the business, which is really good. So we'd like to maybe get him a few more days working for the business, because, you know, it's all very well me having free time, but if I've got no one to spend it with, it's kind of pointless. So you know, he does bits and pieces for the business as well, and it's a really, really good sounding board for me, because my personality, it's, you know, I kind of go, but sometimes you just need someone just to kind of, okay, that's fine, but you know, have you looked at this? Have you considered this? And of course, normally I have, but he's just good at for a sounding board. But my real strategy going forward now is finding really good properties that I can add value to. Purchase on a bridge, I love that. Purchasing on a bridge and loan, you know, get it refurbished, add the value, refinance, let it out. And I think really single buy-to-lets now is my main focus, because I really want to be in a position where, you know, because service accommodation, it's a business. It's not a strategy as such. You know, it's really there's loads of moving parts to it. So I don't want to create more businesses for that. So yeah, my main focus will definitely be single lets, using like, you know, build, refurbish, refinance. But I've also, since I've been off, like serial entrepreneur, I'm also setting up another business, which I've kind of thought of over the lockdown period. So I'm working on that at the moment, amongst cooking, cleaning, feeding the kids, looking after the dog, husband, you know, so
Can you tell us any more about that, or is it still under wraps?
To be honest, there's not a lot to say other than I've got an idea in my head. I know roughly what I need to do, but it's nowhere near yet. But I'd be happy to come and discuss it another time.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely, brilliant. So when you talk about the bridge, you're still needing to raise some of the funds for the equity there. You're just using that fast tool to put you higher as a more desirable buyer than somebody else.
Yeah, definitely. And I think my experience with being an estate agent, you kind of have that inside sort of inner psyche, I guess, of how estate agents work. Having that, I think, has really given me an extra benefit over anybody else. And again, it's all about, everyone's got their buying point, and I think you just got to try and find it, because you do want to get a good deal, and that's going to make a massive difference to your bottom line. That's something that's kind of really been helpful, was having that extra knowledge, and showing that you're a professional person and you're not just someone that's kind of just plucking figures out of the air, because there's a lot of that. Obviously a lot of people are going on training courses and things and maybe not getting the best advice, and that makes it very, very difficult for everybody else that's actually, because they're offering massively over the asking price and that kind of thing, and actually there's not enough money in the deal for that. So for me, I'm not interested in doing really small margins. I'd rather find something that's a little bit juicier that I can make a bit more money on. It's just being creative. It's about being creative, finding things, a solution to the problem. Lots of different difficult properties that have got funny layouts and that kind of thing. Really anything's possible in property. You can do anything. It's just all comes down to cost, doesn't it, really? So
what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Well, you know what, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think actually in terms of like the best bit of advice, it's really sleep. Don't make any rash decisions, sleep on it. Don't kind of go too mad, and just take your time to make decisions. Quite often, quite a common sales tactic is to put pressure on people. It's just kind of blocking that out so that you're not in a position where like you are overbidding on properties and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'd say that was probably my best bit of advice. So yeah, I've actually written, I'm just trying to find what bit that was. There's loads of stuff here, but yeah, so that's what I would say.
Don't rush into a decision.
Don't rush on it, sleep on it.
Sounds like a good one. Okay, and have you got any kind of like daily method of operation now that you wish you'd had in the beginning?
I say I was kind of in a bit of a position where I just had to take the time that I could get, because whilst the baby was napping, I'd be doing some work, and when like my husband came back from work, I could do a little bit then, and so I really just, at that point in my early stages, it was really just taking what I could get. But sorry, postman's arrived. He's got to have his own little Instagram page, isn't he, Marley? But yeah, so I'd say that's quite important to have that.
Okay. And what about do you have a sort of best tool or something that a resource that you use that is you must have that in your?
Yeah, well, I mean, since probably 2015, I've been using Dropbox, and I absolutely love Dropbox. It's been so good for organising me and getting everything online, because for me, I want to be able to work from anywhere. That's really important to me, is that most of my work, to be honest, is done on my phone. That's what I've got everything on this phone, so I can I can do my SA business, I can do my refurbishments, everything. And so that's really important to have. But also I've recently discovered Canva, which is a brilliant app. And I love it because you can create all these brilliant looking posts and adverts and things and documents and anything, basically. You can do anything on there. And again, with the SA side, it's really, because there's so many people doing it now, although maybe not so many after, you know, COVID, but, you know, it's really sort of separating your branding and making sure that, you know, you really stand out from the crowd, and you know, having a professional website and logo and adverts and that kind of thing, because most of my customers are contractors, they're companies and they're corporate people, so that's really important. They want something really super slick, easy. So I've really refined the process of the business to make sure that it's as easy as possible, but also that we are protected. I said about the parties earlier, you know, we have terms and conditions that need to be signed, ID and that kind of thing, and it's so important. And actually I've been working with a couple of people on doing, you know, how to basically reference people, because that's kind of what it's come down to, is that you've got to reference people. And obviously I've got that experience from the letting agency side of referencing people. I mean, although it's only a short stay, you know, but we're letting people into these houses, they have to be able to prove that they are genuine, because there's lots of them. Just lately, because of the lockdown, we've had so many people wanting to party, like young people. I mean, how very dare they? Who doesn't like a party, you know? But not in my place, yeah. So yeah, we've had quite a few lately where they try and book, but again, it's tweaking your offering a little bit to kind of be less attracted to those sorts of people, like our weekend bookings, because we have to leave a certain period of time in between our cleans, or have a special deep clean. You know, we're not really getting any weekend bookings because people can't travel. So all of our weekends now, they're minimum 3 nights, and we luckily haven't really had any, you know, people trying to book for parties, whereas I know a lot of people have had that. It's just a pain, isn't it, Sam? You know, trying to get them cancelled, and, you know, we know what they're up to, and, you know, they can't provide the information that we need. So yeah, so it's really frustrating, but again, it's just part of the business, and it's something that you do really need to seriously consider, and you really need to have a you know, a solution for that. So yeah,
it's not one of those things that can be automated at the moment, is it? You just need to.
It needs a human eye. It can't be automated. It needs a human eye to kind of go through everything, definitely. And there's no way I'd want to leave that to be automated. You can automate a lot of things, but that, no.
And when you have those conversations with people, you can get that, because you're used to it. You've been doing it so long, as you have those conversations, and you get that gut instinct as to whether you're being told a story here.
Yeah.
But then
exactly, you know, don't you? You could just tell from the date, the sort of, you know, because most people will come Monday to Friday, and then you'll have a weekend booking. You know, if they kind of want to come for Wednesday to Friday, it's a bit like, well, that's weird. That doesn't kind of fit in with our normal, you know, our normal pattern. No, yeah.
Who's the most important person, apart from yourself, of course, in your power team?
I'd say my accountant, to be honest. I've been with my accountant probably about five years overall now, and she's not local. She's online. She's, you know, she lives in Stratford upon Avon, but she's been so supportive to me, and I'm really grateful for her. You know, she got me onto the Tom scheme with the SA, which was brilliant. You know, she's really good, and she's a, you know, working mum like me, you know, working from home. I think we've got to all just try and support each other, and, you know, I think that's good. And yeah, I'd say that she's probably one of the most important people.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What about, have you got a favourite book or a favourite resource that would be really good to recommend to somebody who's perhaps just getting into property?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I had a little think about this, and I'm currently reading. It's a little bit airy fairy, so it's not going to be for everybody. It's not about property. It's more mindset, but it's called "Light is the New Black," and it's really, I love it. I love reading this book because it's really all about finding what really lights you up and what really kind of what you're into, because for a long time I was like sort of trundling along thinking, okay, this is fine, but what actually is it that I really enjoy doing? Where is my real passion? And it came out that actually I really enjoy making money, and I think a lot of people were a bit funny about that. And for a long time I was a bit funny. I wasn't comfortable with it, because I was like, oh, it's a bit greedy, it's a bit, you know, this, that and the other. And it's like, actually, but it's not just about the money, it's about what that money can do for you. And it, as I say, it's enabled me to have a really nice life. It's enabled me to do what I enjoy doing, you know, and be there for the kids ultimately. You know, that's what it comes down to. Although at the moment I'm like, I want to like leave. But yeah, so you know, I think that's the thing, you know, don't be afraid to make money, you know. And again, I think it's almost a little bit frowned upon, especially like women making money in property. You know, it's like, don't go out there, you know, go out there and see what you can do, be really super brave, and you know, just go for it, because my God, it's better to try and you know, give it a go. If it doesn't work, fine, but at least you tried, rather than sit there wondering, thinking, oh, you know, what if this happens? What if that happens? Just go for it, you know?
Be bold.
Be bold, be brave, you know, what have you got to lose? I mean, Sam, you've done, you know, you've been bold and brave, and, you know, it's amazing what you can achieve. But, you know, for me, after having children, you know, I was kind of really in a bit of a like, oh, this is a bit of a weird place. And, you know, I've suffered with anxiety and depression, and that's kind of been a massive, massive struggle for me. But my husband always says, I'm kind of like two halves. I'm like kind of this entrepreneurial spirit that wants to go and do all this stuff. But on the other hand, I'm quite happy sat in my garden, planting my seeds, growing my courgettes, you know. So it just depends which one I am on the day, which one I wake up and which one I am. But, you know, but isn't that the beauty of working for yourself, is that actually, if you've got no meetings that day, go and sit in the garden. Why not? You know, go and take the dog for a nice long walk somewhere. You know, why not? Do what you enjoy doing and do what makes you happy. So yeah, so that's that, and that has been a massive struggle with me all throughout, you know, because the anxiety and depression, more anxiety now, but never really went away. But I think that does happen when you have children. You know, you do worry more, and you know, you just got to try and kind of keep the demons kind of away. You know, don't let the mind, the chatter overstimulate what you're doing.
That's brilliant. I love that. Being bold and being brave, and also you know, in the afternoon you've got a gap where you haven't got a meeting. Yeah, we could all sit there and work, couldn't we? But sometimes you need to just take a break and recharge a bit.
Oh God, it's so important to take time out for yourself. It's, you know, that has been one thing that's, you know, you said about the structure of my day. You know, I normally take the dog out for a walk in the morning. I'll come back, do some work, maybe till about sort of lunchtime. It just depends what I've got on, really. And then the afternoon, I tend to just kind of do what I want to do. And I work well like that. That's kind of how I work. You know, I'm kind of I'll sort of pound it for a few months, go real solid, get everything started. And then once you've got things started and you've got your power team and people around you that are doing the other stuff for you, you know, you don't need to worry about it, and you can just take that step back. You know, you might get the odd call, but that's not a problem, or the odd email that you have to deal with, or the council you need to chase for the 16th time. But, you know, you can make it work for you. And that's what I really love about property, is that you can do it and make it work for you and your lifestyle and how you want to live your life.
If you had to start it all again, what would you do different, if anything?
I would have bigger balls. That's what I would do. I would have bigger balls, and you know, like I say, be bolder and be braver. Because for a long time, you know, I was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't know if I can do that. And actually, pushing outside your comfort zone is just, you know, good things happen when you push outside your comfort zone, and it's just so important to do that. And that's what I've found for me is, you know, yeah, it's a bit scary, but actually that's what makes you feel alive, right? Is being a bit scared and not quite knowing what's going to happen, and you know, and that's what I've found is you know, just step outside your comfort zone. Even if it doesn't have to be a massive, great big move, you can just make little steps or just go for it, you know. But you know, just try and do something that makes you a little bit scared. Because you'll always work it out, and I always kind of have that confidence and faith in myself that whatever happens, it will be okay. You know, it's like the property that we're doing at the moment. To be honest, it probably couldn't have been worse circumstances right now. You know, the lenders weren't lending at first, and you know, the materials were a problem getting hold of. Building control couldn't come out. So all these things, you know, and all the meantime, I'm paying £1,000 a month in a bridge, you know, not getting any income coming in. But, you know, it'll be all right. It will be all right. And actually now I'm holding out a little bit to, you know, because I want to get the loan to value, because they're all coming back. All the lenders are coming back. They're starting to come back now, and, you know, trickling back through, which is good. So, you know, it's like everyone's kind of looking at their business and seeing how they can, you know, how best to proceed. And so that will come back. But yeah, be brave. But just one other point I was just going to mention actually was the goal thing. So I've never been a great goal setter, and I've always sort of struggled with doing that, because in my head, I kind of know really where I want to be and what I want to achieve, but on paper, it kind of almost freaks me out a little bit. But I did go to do, and my point is get help. I actually went and did a goal setting course with Fiona Talbot in January this year, and that was really, really helpful. And it was weird how it came about, because, you know, I've followed Fiona for a long time, and it just so happened that she had to step in for someone at the Southampton property meet, didn't she? And she drove all the way down from Ely, from Cambridge, and it was just like, it was kind of like the stars aligned. And I'm like, okay, so that, you know, this is the right thing to do now. And yeah, that was great. It was a great day. I went and met another property investor in Cambridge, Emma Stubbins, actually, who was on the Mike and Victoria Stenhouse's podcast actually the other day. That was good. And so yeah, so it just all sort of clicked into place, you know, those sorts of things. And obviously Karen as well. I went with you, didn't I, Karen? And that was good. So yeah, we had a really good time. It's great.
Awesome. Ladies, have you got any questions you want to?
I just had a very quick look at the Facebook quickly, and we've got 32 comments, Vicky. So
Wow.
it's all been rolling in the background.
When's dinner ready? Or like, you
know. So Fiona's saying, I think the following helps: self-care, connection, keeping busy, having a purpose, staying on track, and being financially secure. You wear a lot of hats as a mum, and often let your own battery deplete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to look after yourself. You know, if you're empty, there's nothing left. You know, you have to. You can't help anybody else. So it's really important to actually be a little bit selfish. And the other day, I kind of, Saturday, I had a bit of it just all got too much. And I said to my husband, I said, I'm going to go and sit on the beach for a couple of hours and just be alone on my own. And I just went and it just did me the world of good, because it just kind of, you just can refocus and refocus yourself. And also I find meditation really helps, and yoga as well. Although I pulled a stomach muscle and I've hurt my back at the moment, so I can't do it this week. But yeah, I think it's too much gardening. But that's been something that's really, really helped me. And, you know, kind of go inside and you know, find that kind of quiet inside. It's so important, especially these busy lives that we lead now, you know. And because I do work off of my phone, you know, sometimes I just have to put it on silent and just, you know, ignore everything, because there's it's so easy to, you know, be responsive all the time, when actually you don't need to be really responsive. You know, it's not going to make a difference an hour or a day. Well, it depends what it is, but you know, so just give yourself a bit of time.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's so many things. We're all doing multiple different things in property, and it's just the noise. You can let it get overwhelming, can't you? So I agree with you. I've got another question. If you were to wake up tomorrow and start, and everything was gone and you hadn't started anything and you're completely restarting, what would you do? Would you do anything different, or would you follow the exact same path that you already have?
I probably, as I say earlier, I probably would have just been braver earlier to do it. Have bigger balls earlier. I think that's the kind of main thing. That's what
Would you have done essay, or I know you said you're now focusing on
I've still done essay. Yeah, I would have still done essay. Yeah, definitely. Because it's such a great cash flow strategy if you can get it right. But it's so important to get your figures right. And, you know, it worked out beautifully for me, because of all my managed portfolio that I was using when I was doing the letting agency thing. I just switched, as the tenants left, I just switched them all over to SA. So I've already got a really good rapport with the landlords. You know, and the majority of them didn't have mortgages or anything like that on them, so there's no restrictions. So, and also, because I was taking a management fee, I could get them cheaper, because, you know, these properties that people are paying loads of money for, they can't be making any money on what they're doing. You know, I know the costs of the cleaners, the cost of the commission payments, if you know, on booking.com, obviously ideally you'd have them direct, but it doesn't always work like that. You know, so there's massive outgoings for SA. So you really, you know, the rent part of it is really important to try and get a good deal, because, you know, if you're managing it very well, you know, they're getting cleaned once a week, they're being really looked after, they're always kept up together, because it's really important that, you know, your product that you're offering your customer is, you know, really, really immaculate. You know, they're corporate people generally, or contractors, but even still, they still want somewhere nice to live, and you kind of want them to be able to come back all the time as well, and keep that momentum going for as long as they're, you know, working in the area.
Yeah, definitely. Karen, do you have any questions?
Well, Nicola wanted to know, is there a particular property business model that you wouldn't do, and why?
Oh, that's interesting. I actually don't think there is one that I wouldn't do. To be honest, I'd say SA is probably one of the hardest ones in terms of actually the moving parts that go with it. Yeah, it's quite easy to as an entry level to get in, because, you know, you can rent a property, you know, you still need to have some cash. But actually it can be very stressful if you haven't got your systems in place. And if you're not used to it, if you're not used to managing properties, you know, you really need to keep on top of it. You know, you really need to keep on top of the cleanliness, you know, constantly the number of teaspoons that go missing, you wouldn't even believe. and mugs, because the thing is, the contractors make a cup of tea in the morning, take the mug with them, so constantly replacing those. But, you know, you need to have someone that can go around, count everything, you know, make sure everything's there. Frying pans, constantly having to replace those. I've tried expensive ones, cheap ones. Now I just go to Pound Stretcher and buy the ceramic ones and just keep replacing them every sort of 4 months or so, because they just trash them. It just gets trashed. So, you know, you just got to keep that in mind, because there's an expense to that.
There's another question about whether you have a SAS or not.
I haven't. And that's something that really, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about the SAS, and actually we use pension money for the commercial conversion. So I know it can really, really work well, you know, for development. So yeah, I know I don't, but to be honest, I've never really been employed for that period of time where I've had a pension. So it will, you know, I've been self-employed since I was like 21. So I've been self-employed for years, and so no, I don't, but I will. It's something I look into, definitely.
Excellent. And Kiera's really surprised at the similarities in your backgrounds and your pathways that you took.
Yeah. But you know, to be an estate agent, you have to be a great communicator. So and a great negotiator, and you know, I think that really leads you in such good stead with what in property. I mean, it's just so complementary for the skills that you need, you know, because people buy from people at the end of the day. And you know, if you're quite a closed book, you know, whereas, you know, anyone that meets me, you know, especially if I've had a glass of wine or coffee, you know, everyone knows that I'll sort of chat for England. But stick me in the front of a room with someone, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. But again, it's confidence and building that confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've all got things we can work on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everyone always evolves, or should do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise they fall behind the trend.
Yeah, definitely.
There was a comment as well about you being penalised when you first got pregnant and had your first child, how having to go part-time was, you know, frowned upon back then as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, my boss was a dick, to be quite honest. Anyway, so I think he would have been, you know, I mean, I knew that I was never destined to be working for somebody for the rest of my life, to be honest, because I'm probably, you know, I'm maybe a bit unmanageable sometimes. So, you know, funny that. I know. I was thinking the other day, you know, like the Duracell bunny, Karen. You know, when you say about the Duracell bunny. Yeah, that's definitely me. Until about 10 o'clock at night, and then I'm like falling asleep on the sofa. So yeah, I think that's
Excellent. No, that's brilliant. Thanks, Vicki.
Is there any other questions, girls? I'm just wondering if
There's one more from Nicola. What secrets have you taken from being an estate agent that have helped you in your property business?
I would say, bear in mind that there's normally a cycle of commissions, so like deals. So you normally have like you'll have your monthly targets. You have your weekly targets, daily targets, weekly targets, monthly targets, and then quarterly targets. So actually, a good thing would be just to, you know, if you've got an estate agent, there's a couple of properties that you want to view, and I would just say to them, look, get me out viewing any of them if you've got time to allow, because then, you know, you're boosting up that particular negotiator's viewing numbers, which is good because they're going to hit that. You know, just kind of play ball with them, really humour them, you know. But yeah, so just bear in mind that they will be targeted for deals monthly, so the end of the month. It just runs literally end of the month, or it certainly used to when I was there. And then quarterly, so you know, quarterly, getting over that as well. So yeah, very simple creatures, you know.
Sorry, my cat's playing up. I don't know if you guys can hear.
Your cat's playing up.
Your dog and my
my dog. My cats are asleep.
You're obviously well experienced in service accommodation now. I think you've helped other people in the past with their businesses. Is it just service accommodation, or other people that you sort of help and mentor?
No, so I've helped because of the sort of journey that I've been through, particularly with dealing with my own kind of head, really. I feel like I've got a lot to give to someone. I feel like I can really help people that have been in that same situation, juggling being a mum, juggling your businesses, juggling with yourself, So not only just with the SA side, but also just with the mindset side as well. I've helped people with that. And it's so important to get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's so many people out there that will help you. I was going to see a business coach, a couple of business coaches actually that I've seen over the last couple of years that have really helped me in very different ways. I had a sort of a non-exec, no, that's not the right word, is it? Non-exec, guy that used to work for a big bank. I've been working with him, and he's really helped me with a lot of the business side of stuff. And then I was seeing a lady who is like a business mentor, sort of mindset coach, and she's actually moved to Italy now, so she's doing a lot of stuff online. And those people have really helped me, and networking as well. Going to the networks, going to the property meets, meeting other people. Because for a long time I was sort of thinking, I'm not really doing anything that good. But then when you go and sort of see other people and see what they're doing, think actually I have done quite a lot. And that's sort of because you're focused. You've got this sort of set of time that you need to just crack on and do your work. You just crack on and do it. You don't really take that step back to think about what you've done, but that's really important that you do sort of take that step back and look at what you've done and look what you've achieved. And and I think that's really important.
Will you continue to offer that sort of support to others?
Yeah, I will. Again, it's my time. I try and protect my time as much as possible now. So I really only kind of work with people that have I've got that sort of connection with and that resonate with me. Because again, part of my sort of journey, I guess, is that I want to work with like-minded people that would probably enjoy that. But the book that I'm reading would probably not think it's that weird, or the fact that I've got like a rainbow crystal hanging up that shines prisms around. Some people it's just not their bag, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, I mean, why not work with people that are like-minded? It's nothing worse. I had a business partner, an ex-business partner actually, that I worked with for a while, and it's quite apparent fairly quickly that our values just weren't aligned, and that was a very difficult time, because we kind of were stuck in this position where we need to we've got joint outgoings and joint connections that we had to kind of unsever. And that was quite difficult. That was quite a difficult time. But again, you learn from everything, and don't jump into bed with the first person that you meet. It's just because you're kind of at the same stage or whatever, or you're really keen to try. Say just take your time, and just let it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Go for a coffee. See, not at the moment, but go for a coffee. Go meet out and just see how you connect. And as you go on, you find what their true values are.
Yeah.
It's very easy to say, oh yeah, my value is this, this and this. But I think really you need to spend time with people to see if that is actually what their true values are. So just take your time, don't go. And also, a lot can be achieved on your own as well, so whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel comfortable with.
I think that's so important. I think all four of us have had experiences with business partners where, you do jump into bed quickly, you have an idea and you think, yeah, and you jump on it and you just move forward at a million miles an hour. And then you know, you just find working together, you're such a mismatch.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to do your due diligence on people. Obviously there's a lot of trainers and things which say all these things they've accomplished, so there's the physical due diligence side, but also, like you say, just giving it time. And you know, it doesn't matter if you need to spend a couple of years getting to know someone, then all the better, because you'll have a much better relationship. I certainly don't jump into bed with people as quickly as I used to. Not like that. And I just think actually I'm better, you know, building those relationships really, really slowly, and who knows, and it's all, you know, you can meet someone 10 years ago and end up doing business with them, you know, now. So things just, you know, there's no rush.
No, definitely not. And you know, just as I say, take your time, and you know, I also think if it feels right, do it as well. You know, just, oh my god, I don't know what that was. Sorry. Oh, my other top tip was to get cleaner. I think she's just broken something.
Oh,
I thought I saw someone in your reflection.
Yeah. Because you can't do it all yourself, you know. You can't do everything yourself. So get help.
don't like, absolutely. As soon as you can, push out the things that you really don't like wasting time on, and just focus on what you love.
Yeah, 100%. My next one, I'm trying to find someone that will take my washing away and clean it and wash it, iron it, and bring it back folded. That's my next one. And meal prep, maybe.
Meal prep. I've looked at meal prep. I haven't quite taken the plunge yet, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I actually really enjoy cooking, but I don't enjoy like daily, you know, chore cooking. I like kind of being a bit flouncy in the kitchen. Flouncy, is that even a word?
It is in this room.
Yeah, it's here.
Vicki, how's the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm quite active on Facebook. I'm on Twitter as well under Oceana Accommodation. And I think that's it. I am on Instagram, but I've got to be honest, I don't use it very much, other than to try and check where my son is. So yeah, that didn't work last night. But yeah, so mainly on Facebook, or you can email me. Yeah, I'm happy to have a chat with anybody that thinks I might be able to help them, really.
Fiona's saying she's got some top tips on meal prep, which we can tap into.
She used to batch.
She's got it all 100%, you know, systemized.
Well, that's great, because actually I've had a slow cooker for years, and slow cookers are brilliant. That's been really helpful, but I've never been able to kind of batch cook enough. So that would be great to hear what Fiona's top tips are on that.
Right.
Perhaps Fiona could post them on this thread as well, because other people listening in might also like to know.
We'd love to have Fiona on, wouldn't we, and interview Fiona one day soon, so we can get all her tips for everyone.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, Fiona, we'll be tapping up you for that soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, like, I didn't know Fiona was actually watching, but, you know, I got to say, Fiona is, if you want any business advice, she's a really good person to speak to.
I think we all second that. She's probably the person we all look up to as our mentor.
Yeah, very switched on.
Yeah, and we're all lucky enough to call her a friend as well, which is great.
Yeah.
So thanks very much, Vicki. Is there any?
Oh, thank you.
Girls, is there anything that we've missed asking Vicki before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think it's been brilliant. We've got loads and loads of comments. People are really learning lots, taking lots away from it.
Nicola's actually stuck in with another question. She's asking your favourite marketing platform.
My favourite marketing platform for
SA, I presume.
Oh, for SA. To be honest, I would say, and I remember having this conversation with Sam actually, you know, booking.com have a massive budget for, maybe not so much now, but have a massive budget for advertising. And yeah, you've got to pay them 15% or whatever it might be. But, you know, generally speaking, once, you know, the contractor is in with you, you can just easily transfer it to a direct booking, you know, for the rest of the duration. So to be honest, I would say it has to be booking.com for getting bookings. but Facebook and LinkedIn is really, really good as well, for building those relationships up with, you know, with companies and that kind of thing. So, you know, an instant one, like putting your property on, I definitely would say booking.com. But, you know, for building those relationships with those key people would definitely be LinkedIn. So, yeah.
And we've got Paul, Vicky's husband, listening in as well.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, that's sweet, actually. He said about how inspiring and amazing you are.
Oh,
That's nice. Oh,
I think my biggest takeaway is about being bold. Being bold, be brave.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's nice.
No, this is brilliant, Vicky. Thank you. It's been really useful.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of, you know, do it in a bit of a structured way, you know, and speak to people and kind of, you know, get out there that, you know, just anyone can do anything they put their mind to if that's what they want to do.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks very much, Vicky. We're going to wrap.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.
And you.
Bye for now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.